Chapter 119 Unexpected Information. I could make the exception to act this once and cause the leaders of only one of the two gangs to disappear. After all, if the two hegemons were to simultaneously encounter misfortune, it would be far too easy for capable people to take note of this. The risk would increase significantly, so it isn't worth it for me to brave this strange danger. Furthermore, apart from these two options, I will not yield in the slightest. After Han Li said this, he hardened his face and spoke no more. He coldly waited for the wife's reply. After Lady Yan and the others heard Han Li's two choices, their faces had a concealed expression of pleasant surprise. However, after they looked at each other, they still hadn't immediately decided. Could your distinguished self please let us sisters talk this over for a moment? Afterwards, we will give young master a reply. After all, this is no small matter, we must greatly think this over. Lady Yan prudently said. Of course, I am not unreasonable. But at the latest, I require an answer by tomorrow morning. The rest of today should be enough for you to discuss this over. After Han Li said this, he no longer took notice of them and left in a relaxed manner. Han Li climbed down the stairs and did not return to his room. Instead, he gave the burly gate guards a baffled sight as he arrogantly left the Mo estate. After he determined there was no one following him, Han Li returned to the inn he where stayed at initially. As he entered the inn, Sun Ergo hurriedly welcomed him. If there is anything to say it in my room. Without waiting for Sun Ergo to start speaking, Han Li indifferently commanded him. Yes, esteemed young master. Sun Ergo respectfully followed behind Han Li. Entering the room, Han Li sat on the couch and stretched himself before saying indifferently, seeing your urgent appearance, it seems you have something important to tell me? Young master, there has been an extraordinary event. I must report it to you, sir. Sun Ergo mysteriously replied, unintentionally advancing half a step. If there is something to say, then say it. Don't be nervous. Han Li looked at Sun Ergo with a tilted glance. This humble person isn't feigning mystery. A rather unexpected event has occurred. This humble person obtained the exact information to present to young master. Recently, a large number of immortals have gathered in Jia Yuan City to meet together in some sort of great immortal assembly. I've heard that so long as you can participate in this meeting, even common folk can immediately become immortal as a member of an immortal clan. Sun Ergo said, his saliva splashing around. Immortals? Han Li was slightly surprised. That's right, there have been people that have seen them with their own eyes. Immortals that can soar the skies, harness the mist and even expel lightning or shoot flames. Young master, what do you say? If one does not have any luck, how could they possibly see an immortal as they please? Sun Ergo asked somewhat enviously. Seeing his appearance, it seemed he had completely replaced himself with a person who couldn't wait to see an immortal. Han Li had already stopped listening at this point. What Sun Ergo called immortals were actually cultivators. However, how did a gangster find out about the meeting of cultivators? Han Li was somewhat shocked. How do you know of this? Do you know much about the person who gave you this information? Han Li asked with interest. This information is completely reliable. It is what my gang brothers have told me. However, because my gang leader is afraid of immortals, he ordered us to seal our lips. Only the upper division of the 4th level gang knows this information. I have also obtained similar information from a drunken noble. I imagine that young master, being such an expert, would be interested. As a result, I hastily rushed over and waited until young master had returned. Sun Ergo said, eager to take credit for his information. Oh. I will not forget your hard effort. However, first specifically explain how those in your gang evaded the notice of those immortals after learning this information? Han Li earnestly investigated in detail. This related to the reliability of the information, therefore, Han Li didn't dare to be careless. I also heard that drunk noble said it was like this. Sun Ergo didn't dare to speak false words and honestly informed Han Li. Originally, the news from a small gang leader of the 4th level gang. Several days ago, he was conducting a large business transaction in the West City outskirts, but who would have thought the information was incorrect? The other party was far too greedy and had planned to kill everyone before escaping with the wind. In order to escape pursuit, he hid in a tree hole in the nearby woods. But unexpectedly, although the enemy had not found him, an incomparably large, monstrous eagle suddenly fell from the sky. That eagle's frightening appearance scared the gang member stiff. This man was quick-witted in the moment of crisis and suddenly thought to use the widely spread Jianghu turtle breath art. He used it on himself to reduce his breath and heartbeat to the extreme, thereby entering a state of feigned death and evading the eagle's notice. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, he heard a dialogue from a young couple on the eagle's back. There were actually people on the eagle's back. However, because the eagle was so large and the man was panicked, he had not noticed the people on it earlier. Just like that, he faintly heard about the great Immortal assembly. At that time, he also realized the young male-female couple were immortals, but his turtle breath art ran out of time, causing him to lose consciousness. By the time he had awakened, it was already the morning of the next day. The couple and the monstrous eagle had long departed without a trace. Thus, with no better option, he stamped his feet and beat his chest before returning crestfallen to the gang. The moment he returned, he was immediately yelled at, so he could not help but tell his superior of this. When his superior heard this, he didn't dare to cover it up and reported it to our gang leader, ape-armed Shen Zhongshan, who gave the command to seal our lips. After Han Li finished hearing Sun Ergo's story, although his face did not change, his heart stirred uncontrollably. A great many cultivators were meeting together. This was a golden opportunity that only occurred once every 100 years. If he could join, he would be able to come into contact with the world of cultivators, and he would no longer have to grope in the dark as he was doing now, arbitrarily trying to find the path of cultivation. Han Li strongly suppressed the excitement in his heart and thought for a moment. With a profoundly calm head, he asked, "Did that person hear the immortal couple say where they were holding the gathering of immortals?"